Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. I saw it on a video made by Dawn Griffiths, Dawn's Stamping Thoughts. She posted it back in 2012. She called it a pop-up card. What happens is that image folds back like that, ready for posting. Okay, it goes into a normal size envelope like that. The recipient receives it, they just pull that bit out and then it will sit on the shelf like that, which to see front it looks like that, sideways it's a box. Okay, two slight changes I'm going to make. I've used DSP around the back here. I'm going to use a piece of Espresso cardstock, and I'm also going to use Espresso cardstock for the back of the sleigh as well, because you can't really see it very well on here, and I think if I did Espresso here and here, it'll tie the two together. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to show you the card pieces that we're going to need. The card base is Crumb Cake and it measures 4.25 inches by 11 inches, which is 10.8 centimetres by 28 centimetres. There are 4 pieces of cardstock, DSP. This is Candy Cane Lane Designer Series paper. There are 2 pieces that measure 1 5/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches, which is 4.1 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres. Then there are 2 that measure 7/8 of an inch by 4 1/8 of an inch, which is 2.2 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres. And then for the image, we need a piece of crumb cake which measures 3 inches by 5.5 inches, which is 7.6 by 14 centimetres. We need a piece of either the DSP if you prefer that look, or this one. This is an Espresso and this measures 2 7/8 by 5 3/8 inches, which is 7.3 centimetres by 13.6 centimetres. A piece of Whisper White which measures 2 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, which is 7 centimetres by 13.3 centimetres. For the sentiment rather, you need a piece that is, this is Crumb Cake again, 1 1/4 inches by 3 1/2 inches, which is 3.2 by 8.8 centimetres. And for the sleigh, you need a piece of Espresso, which measures 2 3/4 inches by 3 1/2 inches, or 7 centimetres by 8.8. And the Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer paper is 2 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches, or 5.7 centimetres by 8.2 centimetres. So the way I'm planning to do this, I'm going to use the big shot first to do the sleigh, then I'm going to do the image piece, then the box, and then to put the whole lot together. Okay, so I need to get my big shot first, and those are the 2 pieces I need. And the dies that I'm using are that and that, which are from Santa's Sleigh framelits. So my big shot, now I'm using the new platform with the thin die adapter. Okay, so that's a new one. If you buy a new big shot, you get these with it now. If you're like me, you have an old one, then you have to buy it as an add-on. So on this one, I'm going to do the big die. I'm going to run this through twice just because the bits at the bottom of the sleigh is a little bit detailed. Yes, that's cut okay. You see, it's just this little bit down here. There's quite a lot of detail there. But I thought that would be okay to do that one. But for the intricate die, I am going to use my precision plate, which is that one. So I need my cardstock, plus the fact that this is, our glimmer paper has a thin sheet of, very, very thin sheet of plastic on the back there. So this needs all the help it can get. And that's what happens with the precision base plate. Plenty of help. Okay. So I'm going to do that through and back. Just have a look. That looks good, but just to make sure I'm turning it in its position, and then I'm going to run it through and then through again. Okay, so that's it for the big shot. Let's move that one out of the way as well, we don't need that. So let's bring that back, and my die brush. So this is the more tricky one. So let's see what happens. Oh, well, that's looking promising. There we go, beautiful. Right, where's my paper piercer? Let's just knock those last two bits out. And that one. That's it, that's good. There we go. That's all that's left in there. Let's pop that in the rubbish bin. Bring that a bit closer. Don't want to fall off my chair while I'm throwing that away. And then this is the other one. And this should be perfectly okay. Yes, beautiful. Okay. And just to show, all the bits came out of that one as well. We don't need that, don't need that. If I bring this back, what I need to do is to put some glue on here to adhere it onto this one. And I'm going to use Tombow for that. Let's just get rid of that little bit. Right. Oh, is there a bit left in there? Yeah, that's sometimes when you pull bits out, you start pulling the plastic off the back, like that. Which, if it pulls off, then I'm quite happy to finish off the job. I don't know quite why it's there, but I know it doesn't fall apart when you take this off. It's never come off as well as this, because I quite like getting rid of it. I feel that you can get your glue on there better. Right. Come on, how far are you going to go then? All coming off? Nearly. That's it. I think that's almost all of it. That's never ever come off as well as that for me. Right, let's try Tombow again. Tombow would be a lot happier, I'm sure. Except, oh, I was going to say, except he's gummed up. Oh, he's working okay now. Right. Tweezers. That's going to show up a lot better on the card. Okay. That's all right. So that can be sitting there drying. Let's close Tombow. Oh, I'm going to have to change the name of something here. Right, we're going to do the image now. The only thing you need to bear in mind is 1 inch at the bottom here is going to disappear into the box, so it won't be seen. So I do just like to make a mark how far my image can come down. So I know on my grid paper that's 4 squares up, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Just do a little line, and then on the other side 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't want my image to come any lower than those marks. They're very faint, you may not be able to see them, but they are there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the Father Christmas, and he is from the Cookie Cutter Christmas stamp set. Now when you're doing this kind of a card, it's not a good idea to have embellishments onto the image sheet because it's got to go through a very fine slit. I'll show you what I mean when we get there. Right, now Father Christmas, I'm using our basic black archival ink, and my pencil mark is there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure his feet come up higher than that a little bit, and his hand is going to come right towards the edge. I don't want it to come right off. It wouldn't matter if it did, but through choice I wouldn't have it that way. Okay, so let's put him round about there. That's good. Now I want to do my reindeer at the side, which means I've got to mask Father Christmas. And I stamped him again on some post-it note and fussy cut it obviously before the video. I'm going to pop that on top just to cover Father Christmas up. That's it. And now I'm going to stamp the reindeer. Now the reindeer is from Santa's sleigh. That's this one here. Again, basic black archival ink. Now what I'm going to do stamping him, I'm going to do the bottom of his legs. Let's move that over. The bottom of his legs about level with Father Christmas legs, but I'm going to make sure his nose and his front leg don't come off the edge. Okay, so feet about level with Father Christmas, not coming off the edge of my paper, so we can go down. Okay. Once you've got these masks, you can hang on to them and you can use them several times. But if you're doing, for example, if you were doing this and you wanted to do, say, 12 of them, if you continually use these 12 times, you would probably find that the ink starts working its way through and it will leave marks on your work. But if you use them on 12 different occasions, so it had a chance to dry between each of them, that would be fine. I don't know how long they would last that way. Right, so for my trees, what I'm going to do is I'm using Almost Artichoke. No, Always Artichoke. And this stamp, which is from Lovely as a Tree. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to mask him as well. I've got a mask for him. And then I'm going to stamp down once. And then I'm going to lift it up and go to the left, stamp, lift it up, go to the right, and keep doing that until I come off the top of the paper. And then that way, let me show you, I build up a forest like that. Okay. So let me get the mask that I did for Rudolph and then cover him up, protect him. I'm not sure it's really necessary to cover up the antlers as they're black. I don't think that it's going to, the trees will show anyway. In fact, if I don't get the antlers in the precise position, there's going to be definite white areas there. But I'm not going to be too fussy there. Right, so let me get a scrap of paper here. Ink my stamp. Make sure it's really nicely inked because I'm going to be stamping several times with this. Right, I'm starting round about level with Father Christmas's arms, and that's down, up, to the left, down, up, to the right, up, down, up, across. I'm going to confuse myself if I keep on like that. Let's just do it. There we go. So I have a mini forest there now. Let's close the ink up. I'm not going to need that again. Let's remove my masks. And there we go. I don't need that. Now I'm going to colour Father Christmas in. I'm going to use my Real Red marker pen, my basic grey, my Retired Blush Blossom. I believe most people tend to use Pink Pirouette nowadays. And I'm using Crumb Cake for Rudolph. I'm going to use Sahara Sand for the grounding. And I'm also going to be using the Project Life journaling pen, and this is number 1. They come as a pack of 2, and I think it's number 5 and number 1. But this is so amazingly fine, it's brilliant. And what I'm going to use that for is to give these proper eyes. Father Christmas has got 2 half moons going upwards, and Rudolph has got a half moon coming downwards. So I'm going to address that problem for them. Right. When I saw Dawn's video, she put some dazzling diamonds on her. She did some flowers, she did the centres with dazzling diamonds. And I did wonder how that would affect opening and closing the card, because this image is going up and down through a slit. It's not an actual hole, it's just a slit that's been cut, and I wondered what effect that would have. Well, I practiced with my one up and down a few times to see what effect it had, and I found that the roughness of it did rough up the edges slightly. I'm not sure that a card would be opened and closed as frequently as I did it. I mean, it was quite a tough test on it. I'll show you in a minute, but I really don't think it spoils the card. I mean, some people rough up the edges of their card anyway to give it character, dimension. It's not something that I normally like, but it is so slight. I'd much rather have the dazzling diamonds and a bit of roughed up cardstock. So that's his jacket, his hat and his trousers. I use basic grey for the gloves, the boots and the belt, and the reason I don't use black is because it's just too dark and it covers up the detail. I mean, on the belt, for example, it's got, you can see where the top of the belt comes over, that bit there. Okay, now if you use black, it just covers all of that up. And like the boots here, it would cover up that crease line if you use black. Okay, so that's Father Christmas, his outfit. Just give him a little bit of colour to his face. And go over the bottom of his cheeks again and his nose, just to make him look a bit more rosy in those areas. And now I'm going to do the reindeer in Crumb Cake, and I'm going to go over this twice so that it gets a nice depth of colour. I did think about doing this beforehand so I could save a bit of time on the video, but I know there's quite a lot of people who much rather see everything step by step rather than jumping stages, because I know some of you do actually work along with me. So I just go as quickly as I can without going over the lines, one hopes. Right, so that's the first one. Let's go over it again and get our colour solid. Just go over the hooves a couple of times to get those to come up darker. There we go, I think that's alright. I'm not going to go over it anymore. Now let's give Rudolph a red nose. And also let's do the eyes. Now let me show you what I mean about these eyes before I do them. You see Father Christmas has got two upside down moons, or two moons of facing upwards, and Rudolph has got one that's coming down. So I'm going to remedy that. Just drawing a moon coming downwards. Come on, don't run out on me now. No. I wonder if I can do it. This is going to be so much thicker if I do it with the basic grey, this pen. Ooh. No, that's not too bad. I have done worse. There we go. Not as good as it should have been, but you can see what I mean. They look better now, don't they? They look asleep, I think. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the grounding, I think, before I do my glitter, and I'm using Sahara sand for that. Now all I do is I just squiggle some colour in. As you know, I don't profess to be any good at colouring, painting or anything like that. My skills are probably fractionally better on painting than they are on photography. Give me a card to make any day. Right, okay, and I also come down here, although this is all going to be covered up, I like to think that if anybody wants to peek inside the card via the box, they know that I've done the job properly. Okay, so that's all right. Now I'm going to put some dazzling diamonds on this, and what I'm going to use is my 2A glue pen. I have been trying to use this a lot more recently to get used to it. Oops. And I have to say it's like Fast Fuse and Glue Dots. I persevered with those two as well and finished up liking them. And now that I'm getting more used to this, I'm a lot more happy with it. A lot happier with it rather. Okay, so I'm doing his beard, moustache, the fur trim round his hat, the cuffs on his sleeves, the cuff down the front. I think it's called a placket, isn't it, down the front of his jacket? I'm sure somebody out there knows and can let me know. I'm sure it's a placket. And then the cuffs on his trousers. And then I'm just going to do some random glue through the forest. Just to give it a bit of glitter, make it look like snow. Round about Rudolph. Might as well have some on the ground as well. But this will scrape through the slit in your box. In fact, let me just get the glitter on and then I will show you how it is scuffed up. Okay, so that's that. My dazzling diamonds. There we go. You see the sparkle? Yep. In fact, that way you can see all the lumps of the glue. But that will all dry. Right, before I go on, let me just show you this scuffing. Okay, so if you have a look here, this bit along here and this bit along here, you see it is scuffing, but it's not anything really awful. Now I'm going to put these 3 layers together with Tom Tom. I don't know if you can hear that, but somebody's got fireworks out at the back. My studio here looks out across the valley out of here. On the other side of the valley you can see fields, you can see the deer out there, there's a golf course, and when it's Guy Fawkes night, which is 5th of November, we can see the fireworks all the way across everybody's gardens. It's really lovely. It's a great place to be living. Right. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I quite liked the DSP as a middle layer because I thought it looked a bit like Christmas lights around it. But anyway, so that's that bit. What we're going to do now is our box. Okay, so this is where we need our scoreboard, and during the month of November I am offering this as a prize, one of these, not this one, one of these as a prize to all my customers, online customers. For every £50 you spend, your name will go in for a prize draw, and the lucky winner will get one of these. If you spend if you do 2 or 3 orders during the month, then they will be added together to calculate how many times your name will be going in the drawer. But that's why I'm trying to do projects during November, all of which are using the scoreboard, so you know how handy it is. Right, now for the score lines, in fact let me just use my wax paper first. That just makes sure that my scoring tool goes across nicely, and I'm using the smaller end of my scoring tool. Right, I'm going to give you the inches first, and then I will do it again and give you the centimetres. I think it will be less confusing like that. I would find it less confusing if I was following somebody. Right, okay, so first of all 1 inch, 2 3/4 inches, 3 3/4 inches, 5 1/2 inches, 7 1/4 inches, 8 1/4 inches, and 10 inches. So in centimetres, that is 2.5 centimetres, 7 centimetres, 9.5 centimetres, 14 centimetres, 18.5 centimetres, 21 centimetres, and 25.5 centimetres. Okay, so that's all you need the scoring board for. Then we need our trimmer. And you need to put the centre mark, which is the 5 1/2 inches or the 14 centimetre line, and you need to line that up with your cutting groove. And what you need to do is you need to slice a line along here, but don't do that first ½ inch and don't do that last ½ inch. Or if you're centimetres, don't do that 1.3 centimetres and don't do that 1.3 centimetres. Okay, so you start at ½ inch and you go down to 3 3/4 inches, or you start at 1.3 centimetres and go down to 9.5 centimetres. Now I'm going to have to bring this a bit closer to me so that I can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so my board is actually on, my side arm here is on centimetres, so I want 1.3 and I've got to come down to 9.5. Okay, so I've got a gap here, and I have an uncut piece here which is 1.3 centimetres or ½ inch, and there's an uncut piece there, again 1.3 centimetres or ½ inch, and that's all we need this for. Okay, we can start putting this together now. So what we're going to do is we are going to fold and burnish all our folds. As you fold it over, make sure your edges are folding up really nicely. Make sure they line up perfectly. Including the one that's got the cut line on it. Right, okay. So what's going to happen is, with our cardstock like this, we've done all our folds folding in like that. So with these two end pieces, we need to put some sticky tape on there. I'm using some red sticky strip, which this must be about 1 inch wide, is it? About, no, 3/4 of an inch wide. Okay, and I'm going to put it so that it's close to the fold line on both sides. I'm not doing it close to the edge. Alright, it's the fold line that I'm going for. Right. So I'm just going a little bit down from the edge. Let's bring that a bit closer. I can't really see what I'm doing here. Let's turn it around the other way. Oh dear, now I've got to do it left-handed. Come on, you can do it. Well, there we go. There's a little bit of a bunch there, but that's all right. Okay, so that one. Now I'm going to do this one. Which way did I do it? Did it that way that time, didn't I? Let's try that one again. I'm sure I'm doing that back to front, but if it works, it's fine. Okay. Now what I'm going to do before I go any further is I'm going to adhere my DSP. Here we go. Thought I'd lost it for a moment there. So what we're going to do is those there and these here. Now I'm going to use Tom Tom for the oh dear, the amount of times I call it Tom Tom. Tombow. I'm going to use Tombow. As you may guess, Tom Tom does feature quite largely in our lives. Right, so that one. Sometimes I wonder how we managed without it. I used to love map reading when I was a child. There we go. Come on, one at a time, please. Obviously don't cover the hole up. And I think the next thing I will do before I start putting the card together is to tie the ribbon around here. Okay, done that one there. I think it'll probably be easier if it's done beforehand rather than waiting until it's all put together. Right, that should be enough. If this doesn't go right first time, I will leave it and then finish it off camera. There's nothing more painful than watching somebody struggle tying a bow. Right, nearly there. Left that a little bit short, haven't I? Never mind, we'll have a small bow. Oh, that's not too bad. Don't be so hard on yourself. There you go. That's fine. I can live with that. So just trim that bit. And then that bit as well. Slight angle. There we go. Just want to move that along a bit because I prefer to have it towards the end. Okay, so that's fine. Happy with that. In fact, I think I'll put a glue dot underneath that just to keep it in place. So just lift one up with my paper piercer and pop it underneath and then push that bit down. There we go. That's not going anywhere now. Right. Just remember that that's the front of the card. Okay, now what you need is to take your image and put it through your cut line in the centre there. Okay. Now what's going to happen is this bit here, you're going to adhere down here, and then you're going to pull this one over to adhere it on top. Okay, now the only thing you really need to watch on this is to make sure that you've got this bit adhered down here straight. This is going to be very exaggerated, but if it's not straight, as it goes up, you see it's going to go like that. So as you know, I cannot see a straight line, so what I'm going to do is first of all remove the red backing, like that, and I have a small ruler. What I'm going to do is I'm holding the image up, holding the sticky bit down, and then when I think I'm okay, I am just going to measure. I know it should be 1.5 centimetres. I mean, it really doesn't matter. In fact, that's more than 1.5. It doesn't matter if it's more. That's 1.7, as long as top and bottom, they're both the same. That's a bit too far. And that's about 1.6. Now, if that's 1.6, I'm good to go. Yep, that's it. Now, I'm not moving my left hand. Now, I think that should be it. Let's just double check that. Yep, that's good to go. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is take this piece off. I've got some hanging off the edge here. See that? No, you can't. You can't really see that. Yes, you can. You see that. So what I'm going to do is, once I've got this, the cover off, I'm going to fold that backwards so that it comes back. There we go. So at least it's not going to be on the outside. Now, just make sure that when you bring this over, it all lines up. This really is the trickiest bit of the job. But once it's done, it's done. There we go. And there is your card. Okay, stands up beautifully. Now when you open and close, you can hear the glitter scraping. It takes a little bit to start it wearing in, but it does get easier. As you've seen, that one goes up and down nicely now. Okay. So what we need to do now is take our sleigh and we're going to adhere it on like that. So I need to put some Tombow on the back here. Actually, it's quite good that I've got early Espresso, because you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm just doing one thin line of Tombow along the, either just on top of the fancy bit or at the bottom of the carriage part. And I'm just going to put some little bits on the actual sleigh. Don't know, what would you call these bits? Let's call them runners. That's close enough, I think. So just little bits. Right, I think that's fine. Now I'm going to adhere that so that that line is going to be just below that fold, and I'm making the back bit there towards the edge. Okay, so I've got quite a lot of this carriage bit without glue that's below that fold, but that's fine, better than having too much glue on there. Okay, so the last bit we need is the sentiment, and I have already done this beforehand. I've taken Happy Christmas from Seasonal Bells stamp set, which I have used this so many times. What I've done is I heat embossed it with black embossing powder, and then I cut it out by hand. And the thing that you need to think about this is it can't go on any part of the image that's going to be going through the slit. Okay, so once you've got all the bits ready, you might find it easier to do if you close up like that, and then you can see exactly where you can put this. Okay, so you know that's not going to interfere. Okay, so stands up nicely. You can't see that, I know, but trust me. So there we go. Lovely project, isn't it? And a very good reason for wanting a scoreboard. So I'll put the link for my shop below. If you would like to take part in the prize draw, please place your order on my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. I'll enter your name once for every £50 you spend, and as I say, the amount is cumulative. So there's that one. Let me see if I can prop this up a bit so that you can actually see it. I want you to be able to see the two of them together. Okay, so you can decide which you like. I mean, I like this one better for the sleigh, because that does show up a lot better. But I still quite like what appears to be lights going around that one. So it'd be interesting to hear your views. Many thanks for watching my video. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave them in the box below. Or email me at janb@janbcards.com. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that you've seen me feature here today, please click on the link in the box below for my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. As I say, for every £50 you spend, I'll put your name in for a prize draw to win a scoreboard. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you will be notified every time I post a new video, which is normally Wednesdays and Sundays. And finally, I will put all of the details on the screen of the measurements, the products that I've used, but I know that they're not visible on all devices, so I will also put them in the box below. So if you just click on show more, the box will open and you'll have all the information down there. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.